Hey everybody, welcome back to A Matter of Life and Maiden, the podcast of the Beast. I'm Joe Labriola.
And I'm Matt Wagner.
And today we're going to be talking about the second part of the Brave New World album, the live concert performance, Rock in Rio, recorded January 19th, 2001 in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil.
Scream for me, Brazil!
Scream for me! Rock in Rio, wow. Where do we even begin with this, man? I mean, you want to tell the story about Rock in Rio, how amazing it is, and why it's so great?
Yeah, like for me personally, it was like 2003 I started listening to Iron Maiden and started getting all their albums and listening to them and stuff. And I didn't know a lot about the band. There was no YouTube back then. So, I mean, you guys, I know a lot of you younger guys don't believe this, but I didn't know what the band even like looked like performing. I saw like their pictures on like CDs or whatever, but I didn't know what the band looked like or how they even played live. I had no idea. I never saw Live After Death. Stuff like that was kind of harder to get back in the day. You couldn't, Amazon was just starting out, so it wasn't like you could just go on Amazon and buy, VHSs and DVDs and all that kind of stuff. I really liked the band. They weren't my top favorite band at that point, but they were up there. They're like my top couple, 5 or 6. I like Metallica. I like Led Zeppelin. I like bands like that. So, like, Maiden was, like, up there, but they might not have been my number one favorite band. I certainly wasn't obsessed. I didn't have any t-shirts, that kind of stuff. So, I started getting into, like, buying concert DVDs of various bands. Like, I remember I bought Led Zeppelin's How the West Was Won DVD and all that kind of stuff. And I liked Iron Maiden, so I was like, hey, maybe I'll, go on Amazon here. It's kind of like a newer thing. So I went on Amazon, looked up Iron Maiden DVDs, and they had this Rock in Rio DVD. And I was like, that looks interesting. It had really good reviews, so I bought the DVD, waited in the mail for it to come. And, when I finally got it and I put it in and I turned it on, and that, like, scene at the beginning where they're flying in on a helicopter. I guess what happened was that there's so many people at Rock in Rio. There's like 250,000 people, and that's like after they like started reducing the crowd sizes, because before that it was like 300,000-400,000 people. So they had to fly in a helicopter because there's no way to even get into the venue unless you're on a helicopter. And that's like turn the DVD on and they're flying in, and there's the band talking. It's like the first time I ever saw like the band, like besides like a picture of the band, that they're moving around, they're talking. I'm like, oh man, they're really British, like. The way they talk and stuff, and Nico, you see Nico like playing the drums at the beginning, and you see like, oh, even he's kind of a clown, and so you're kind of getting like the first time I'm getting like the personality of the band. And Janek's really soft spoken and quiet, that kind of thing. Davey's really quiet, and then they start out with that music hits, and you kind of getting the feel for the crowd, and then they're playing Arthur's Farewell, I think, at the beginning, and then it comes on. And then it stops and the spotlights come on and there's Adrian coming out and he's just playing those opening riffs from Wicker Man. And from there I was hooked on Maiden. That was it. I was a super fan for life.
Similar story to Matt, kind of similar, a little different, Matt got obsessed with Rock in Rio, and he brought it over here and I watched it with him and I was blown away. And then a couple days after that, my birthday came up and he got me a Rock in Rio DVD copy and like an H.P. Lovecraft book, horror stories and stuff like that. And I watched it immediately. We put it in and watched it again.
Yeah, like because we liked Iron Maiden, but they might not have been our favorite band yet.
And after that, much like Matt said, that Rock in Rio DVD is the reason why I went out and bought more concert DVDs, was because of Rock in Rio, where Matt's was kind of like, we had some stuff. I kind of got Rock in Rio, and then I started getting, like, I got Metallica's S&M, I got Led Zeppelin's Royal Albert Hall performance.
Or you got one of Megadeth's.
I got some Megadeth stuff. I got the Buenos Aires, Argentina show of Megadeth. I got a bunch of Rush stuff after that. Just, that really got me, Maiden influenced me to love that kind of music. I mean, they're the reason why I have, all their DVDs. Why I love guitar music, too, is like that, too. Joe Satriani, Steve Vai, that kind of stuff. Their DVDs, that same, just because of Maiden. Maiden's the reason why, guitars and just that stuff. So, and like Matt said, you watch it, they come in the helicopter, you get to know who the band is, you get to see that they're British, that they're really, actually, honestly enjoy being around each other. They love playing together. And Arthur's Farewell comes on, and like Matt said, Adrian.
Yeah, because there was no YouTube back then. You you didn't know these guys, like, how they acted, or how they sounded talking, or whatever. Like, this was your first glimpse of, like, the actual band.
Another thing I want to note about this particular concert too is wasn't there like a power outage or something, and they went on at like 2:00 in the morning and until like 4 in the morning or something like that.
Yeah, so I mean, there was like a lot of pressure around this too. I mean, and the production that went into recording this concert was like immense. I don't know how many cameras were used in the recording. I remember reading before, but it had to have been like dozens of cameras were used.
Yeah, and to be honest, this stage show, we just talked about like the greatness of Somewhere Back in Time and like Live After Death and Maiden England and shows like that, and even Somewhere on Tour, the stage set design, like all the stuff that they use. Honestly, that stuff isn't even that paramount in here. They have a lot of set pieces and stuff like that, but it's nowhere near like the production of the actual stage set in terms of like pyrotechnics and
they had like a Walk on Eddie.
Yeah,
they had the backdrops and they had Wicker Man for Wicker Man. That was it.
It's a lot more limited, but that just goes to tell you how amazing the music is and the way they sound is, because even without all that stuff, this concert Matt and I were just talking about is arguably the best live CD and best live DVD show they've ever released. I mean, in my opinion, I think it's the best. I think
it's my favorite. It's my personal favorite live DVD. It's my live performance they've ever done.
My personal favorite as well. And that goes to say something about
like I almost like this as much as like any album that they've ever done.
Exactly. It's like this is pretty much our Live After Death being released to VHS.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Like that spawned a lot of Maiden fans in the 80s, and this spawned, I'm thinking, a lot of Maiden fans in the 2000s.
And we were one of them. We were one of the people who got, turned. Like Matt said, after this, Maiden became pretty much
it took me from being like a 9 out of 10 Maiden fan to like an 11 out of 10. Like it was full. Like after this, I got the T-shirts. I got the rest of the CDs. I got the other DVDs that they put out. I got everything.
And for me, I already had a couple T-shirits, but like I said, I got all the other DVDs. I think I got Death on the Road after that. Oh, I got a bunch of other things. The early days stuff.
Visions of the Beast.
I got all that.
Yeah. And from that point on, I bought every thing that they put out.
Same here. Wicker Man comes out. Adrian plays a song.
That's like
amazing.
The coolest opening to any concert that I can remember. It just goes silent and all black, and then the spotlight's hit on Adrian, and he's just and then it's just and then boom, and the fireworks go off, and they come running out on stage, and it's it gives me chills thinking about it. It's so awesome.
Another thing about this too is just Bruce's vocals, man. Just wow.
The energy of this concert is hard to
match.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of another band. It's just not. There is no other band that I would compare this to. It ruins almost every live concert DVD that you go and watch, because it doesn't have that same energy and feel and power.
And Matt and I talked about this before. Another reason why this is one of the greatest ones. Really, there's not a lot to compare it to. I mean, you can compare it to Death on the Road, and you compare it to Live After Death, and maybe some of the early stuff from the early days of Maiden England.
And Vivo.
Or in Vivo. The thing about those shows, we talk about this constantly, is it's filmed at one venue, and it's at that venue the whole time. The thing that kind of takes away from Flight 666 and the Book of Souls live chapter, let's say in particular, is they go from one place to the next for every track around the world, which is awesome. It's cool they do that. It's unique. It's a different way to approach it. But the energy, like Matt's saying, is kind of diminished when you watch it that way, because you're going from
you don't get that transition,
to another show, to another show. You're not getting the actual full performance of a single venue. If you watch Rock in Rio, you understand what we're talking about. The single performance at this venue with all 19 songs they play is just man. I mean, it just hits you right in the face.
Bruce's lines in the DVD are awesome. That "Scream for Me, Brazil" is classic now. That he has this during that 2 minutes to midnight, he's Mr. Janet Gears comes to Rio, and just stuff like that mixed in throughout the song. He's throughout the live album DVD is awesome.
Yeah, and we just talked about Brave New World. Ghost of the Navigator is another example. He's if you've been navigating on the seas of life, you may meet this character. And Nick was really? And he's the ghost of a navigator, shit like that.
It just adds
amazing.
It adds to the fact that it's a live DVD, and they're just not playing the album, the original songs off the album exactly the same way. They're different. They're live. It's special. And the energy is just hard to describe compared to like even the album versions. A lot of people give this DVD some criticism because of the camera work, because it switches a lot. But it really gives you like that kind of feeling, like, and it goes with the music, gives you that glimpse of like the whole concert and the energy that was there. You feel like you're there.
Yeah, the one thing I would say that is my only criticism of it, I love the show. Like I said, probably one of the best concert DVDs I've ever seen, if not the best. Adrian Smith gets kind of like, I don't know what happened, if his camera wasn't working or something. Well,
they said they lost. There was 2 cameras that they lost film to,
and that was probably Adrian.
One was on Dave's and one was on Adrian. Yeah. But it seemed like Dave still got kind of spotlighted a little bit more, but Adrian is definitely like not spotlighted at all. And you only see him for like a couple songs at a different couple times. Yeah. Like Wicker Man, he's on, like, thankfully, like, that camera was on him, because you got most of his performance on Wicker Man. But
by no means does that like diminish the quality of the DVD. It's just, I'm an Adrian fan. I want to see Adrian solo, and I want to see him walking around. He's kind of like, the camera died, so it's not, But the songs they play on here, man, I mean, Wicker Man sounds amazing.
Wicker Man and the Ghost of the Navigators, kind of like a modern day Aces High and the 2 Minutes to Midnight sort of feel. I mean, they just go together like peanut butter and jelly.
That's what it is. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Brave New World.
Yeah, like they open the concert here with 3 new songs, which is interesting. Usually they do like 2 new ones, and then they'll throw a old one in there or 2 for the crowd, so that they stay energized. But I always like in the DVD when right before Brave New World starts, Bruce is like standing there with his arm out, and he's waiting for it to start. And it's like something happened where it didn't start exactly when he wanted to, and he kind of looks over at like Dave and laughs, like, you're gonna start the song, and then Dave does start it. That was like that. I always like that part. It's like one of those funny, quirky
moments.
Title
track from the new album, Brave New World. The end of these things,
yeah,
it's an amazing concert. Wrathchild is after Brave New World.
Yeah, it's like one of the only performances of Wrathchild I really even like.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome.
I mean, it's like every
the best performance they've done of it, probably that we've ever.
I like that part when they start jumping, and like there's like 50,000 people in the crowd like jumping at the same time.
Yeah.
The guitar sound on that the Wrathchild is that just it's so like like the concert, like to see the guys and they're all performing together and they know like this is a big deal, like this is 250,000 people, this is being recorded for a DVD. This DVD could determine whether they like make it as a band, even, because how you make your living in modern music is touring. And so this needed to show people, like, hey, you want to come see Iron Maiden play live. Like, you don't want to miss this show. So the pressure was there, and I think they even said Jimmy Page was at this concert. Because he was a friend, I think, of Martin Birch. Or not Martin Birch, Kevin Shirley. Kevin Shirley and Jimmy Page were friends. And he was there at this concert. So, I mean, that shows you, like... So they're going on at 2 o'clock in the morning. There's 250,000 people. This DVD needs to be good for the band to do well in the future. And Jimmy Page is standing over there watching you play.
Those of you who don't know Jimmy Page he's one of the greatest guitar players in rock history. Guitar player for Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, probably the most influential rock guitarist of all time. He spawned more guitarists than probably anybody.
Fantastic player, too. Wonderful. I mean, Maiden and Iron Maiden are huge fans of.
Oh, yeah, like any British guitarist after 1967 was influenced by Jimmy Page.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, you had all that going on, and there was a power outage, and you're playing at 2 in the morning instead of 8 at night or whatever, 9 at night. So, it's 2 in the morning, you're tired, but you wouldn't even know it. Like, you're watching this concert, it's 2 in the morning, like, the crowd's going like bananas. Like, it's amazing that the energy the crowd still had. It's amazing that these guys still had that energy. Not only that did they have, like, energy for 2 in the morning, they had energy, like, all-time energy, like, energy for any time of the day. They were just on fire. Like, I think it's the best live DVD, I think it's the best thing Iron Maiden's ever put out outside of a studio album.
I agree with you. Like you said, it's up there with the studio stuff, man. 2 Minutes to Midnight, live, amazing.
Yeah, Mr. Janet Gears comes to Rio.
One thing I don't like about that is because I'm an Adrian fan, is Janet's playing the introduction. I'm like, come on, it should be Adrian.
Modern day, they went back to Adrian. Adrian does the opening riff now. But Janik had been doing it throughout the whole 90s, so, I mean...
They let him do it?
Yeah, he kept doing it until, I think, probably 7 or 8 years ago. I think Adrian started doing it again. This is like, a lot of these, like, this is my favorite performance of 2 Minutes to Midnight they've ever done, too. I mean, it sounds amazing. It looks amazing. The camera work, the solos. I mean, I don't have, like, enough nice things to say about this DVD. This is the reason why I'm, like, a huge Iron Maiden fan.
Yeah, this 2 Minutes to Midnight performance too, man, is amazing. I mean, this really got me into loving that song. When I think about 2 Minutes to Midnight in my head and it playing out,
Rock and Rio.
I think about Rock and Rio. Yeah. You know, I think about like what Matt said. He says, you know, Yannick Gears, Mr. Yannick Gears comes to Rio. I think about that every time. And Yannick's like down on like one knee, like all spread out, like playing the guitar. It's just like,
yeah. There's a lot of times where I'll hear like some of these songs. I'll listen to the studio version of the album, and I'll like say, like, I'll be singing along, but I'll say like the stuff Bruce said during Rock and Rio. You know, like I'll say the Mr. Yannick Gears comes to Rio, even though it's not. You know, it's the original Power Slave album. I don't know. It's just so ingrained in me. This DVD. I've seen this DVD. I bought it in like 2003 or 2004, and I've seen this DVD probably 100 times since. You know, like I've watched it a lot.
Yeah, this is the most watched DVD too. Like I said, I watched Live After Death a shitload before Summer in Time came out. I've watched this more. I mean, I've watched this. You and I watched it together probably out of this 100 times. Probably you and I watched it 25 times together.
Yeah. And this was like one of our favorite things to, you know, get together and watch. And
there were times where Matt and I would get together and we'd watch like Maiden concerts all day long. Like, we'd watch Rock and Rio. We'd watch Death on the Road. We'd watch Flight 666. We'd watch the early days. We'd watch all that stuff. And we do that. We do that a couple times, you know. Or we'd pick one and say, hey, today we're going to watch Rock and Rio. 9 out of 10 times it was usually, we were going to watch Rock and Rio. Okay, we'll watch Rock and Rio again. And it was constant. Rock and Rio.
It's just amazing how like these songs were superior to their studio versions, even though they're done live at 2 in the morning in front of 250,000 people.
You're right. And I think Maiden talks about now, like when they record, how they have that live feel to their albums. And I think this is one of the reasons why they do it that way now. You know, it's because, and I think Brave New World too, they said they wanted to have a live feel to that album. So that's like, with Kevin Shirley, they do that.
It's just amazing, like Wicker Man and Ghost of Navigator and Brave New World, they sound even better live. They sound, I don't know, like it's even better.
Yeah, this sets the tone for everything they've done afterwards in terms of DVD releases. Like, Matt and I have seen these songs live and they sounded amazing.
Yeah.
Like, the way they do the stuff is unbelievable. The way Kevin Shirley allows them to go into the studio and just, like, do what they want to do is awesome. And if you watch any DVD, you know, post Rock and Rio, they talk about how when they go into the studio, they want to have that live feel, and it's probably because of Rock and Rio. I mean, it's probably because Matt just said
the energy of it.
Live.
Like Rock and Rio, it captures that when the first time I saw Iron Maiden live, and like since then, like it feels like Rock and Rio when I'm there. Like that's the kind of energy you feel.
Absolutely, and
it kind of encapsulates that.
Yeah, it does.
And you don't always get that feeling. Like it didn't feel like Live After Death when I saw Iron Maiden. It didn't feel like Raising Hell. It didn't, you know, it didn't feel like those concerts.
Obviously not that. Yeah.
Yeah, like it felt like Rock and Rio. When you're at a concert, it captures that feeling that you got like at Rock and Rio or seeing Maiden live anywhere.
Yeah, if you, like Matt just said, I was going to touch on that too. If you watch the Live After Death DVD or you watch Maiden England or you watch, you know, Raising Hell or whatever, the energy in those concerts, you know, is good, and the performances are good. But you watch Rock and Rio, and then you go to a live concert now, what you expect is to see Rock and Rio.
Yeah, Iron Maiden is one of the only bands that lived up to expectations when I saw them live. A lot of times, like, you see things live and they don't quite live up to what you expect or what you hope they live up to. Iron Maiden has, like, never disappointed us.
Yeah, that's why they're a favorite band. I mean,
they never disappoint. There's few people in rock that don't disappoint. Iron Maiden's one of them.
Yeah, not only, like we said before, this album lacks so much production in compared to modern day stuff. Compared to Somewhere Back in Time, because that's really the tour that kind of set the production standard for modern day. This sets the production as in sound. I mean, like sound production standard for modern day.
And the energy level. What you expect at the energy when you go to an Iron Maiden show.
Bruce starts doing those one-liner quips now. He did them in Live After Death. He did them in, you know, Maiden England. He did them in, not so much in Raising Hell, but those one-liners now, where Bruce comes out and he talks about a song for 2 or 3 minutes before he says what the song is like his standard now. Like, that's what he does. And it's because of this DVD. Yeah,
there's a few moments on here that are kind of like signature moments of the concert. And one of them is Adrian Smith's opening Wicker Man riff. That's kind of like ingrained to me as a moment. And then the next one's, like the next song here, Blood Brothers. That's a signature moment when they do the middle part when he's like, hey, 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 and the whole crowd is like doing that clap. Yeah. And when I go to see Iron Maiden live now, we've seen Blood Brothers 3 times live now. It's so cool to be able to do that clapping part. Because, like, when you do it, you think Rock in Rio. And to see, like, they're, like, looking out, like, Bruce is, like, standing there, like, looking out of the crowd. And he's, like, there's, like, 100,000 hands in the air. Like, it's amazing to see that shot. It's probably the most epic shot that they do in the Rock in Rio DVD. It's that view of the crowd, and they're all just doing those claps.
And he just looks up at the crowd, like Matt said. There's like this huge smile on his face. He's just like, this is amazing.
This is a dude that's like been there, done that everywhere in the world. And they even did Rock in Rio before, but like they were filming it that night, and to like see the look on his face when he's staring out at the crowd is pretty awesome.
I love the song too, man.
But like Bruce is like the ultimate showman. He's playing with 250,000 people, playing in front of 50 people. The dude's going to give you a show.
Absolutely,
he gives it everything.
Blood Brothers, man, like we said about,
I think it's my favorite performance on the album.
Yeah, it's definitely mine too. It has to be. That I like Run of the Hills a lot too.
Yeah, every song
and the Klansman and everything. Yeah,
but I think this one's number one to me.
Yeah, it's definitely number one.
One of my favorite moments of the whole concert, and the way that like Bruce singing and his like feeling, and it just that being live has that rawness to it. Like, even the in vivo version of Blood Brothers. Blood Brothers is just an amazing live song. It's one of the best live songs. It's probably the best live song they've done since, they got back together. It's just something great about Blood Brothers. The connection to the crowd. Because when we saw him on the Final Frontier tour, he dedicated it to Dio. And everybody shot the horns up in the air, like 15,000 people, Amazing. And then, it's one of those songs that just has that personal connection to the crowd, and you could see like it was just a new song when they did it back in the Rock in Rio days, but you could already see it was becoming a fan favorite.
It's the best performance on here, man. I agree. What about Sign of the Cross, man? That live,
just a smidge better than the studio version.
Yes, it's better. This thing freaking vomits on the studio version.
Yeah,
it just destroys it.
After this, it ruined the studio version for me. I don't want everyone to listen to it again. I just want to listen to the live Rock in Rio version of Sign of the Cross now. Thanks.
And that's why Matt and I are so excited for Legacy of the Beast to come here next year, because they're playing Sign of the Cross on it. Oh,
and even they've even added more production. It seems like it's even better now, just from like the YouTube videos I've seen. But the Rock in Rio version. Like, a cool part about the CD release, though, is that you can hear one of their stage technicians breaking his arm in the background. Yeah, if you ever listen to the CD, it's not on the DVD, but if you listen to on the CD version, you can hear a guy scream during the beginning intro part. They're yeah. It's like, that's one of their guys, like, they had this cross that they would put Bruce on. Before that, they put Blaze on it. But they put Bruce, and they raised him above the stage, and he'd stand there, and they'd sing Sign of the Cross while on the cross. And something happened where some of the rigging broke and smashed the guy's arm.
Yeah, one of the ropes or something came down. The rigging, came down and crushed the guy's arm.
You can hear him like, ah! I mean, it's like funny to hear now, but I'm sure at the time it was funny for that guy.
Absolutely not.
But Sign of the Cross, man, like, compare that to like the studio version. I mean, it's like 10 times the energy. It's like right in your face. It's Bruce destroys the song like he does every other song. I mean, he's just on it.
We talked about this when we talked about the X Factor podcast too. It's like Bruce is like, this song is made for Bruce. Like, Steve was trying to write stuff for Blaze because he thought Blaze could do Bruce stuff, and just he can't. I mean, he can't. Bruce
just up there saying, the Sign of the Cross.
It's not even his song, and he just owns it. I mean, it's not even an era he was in Maiden, and he just destroys it.
It's another thing, like, an interesting thing about Bruce, though, is that you can't tell the songs that he didn't do with Maiden compared to the ones he did do.
Exactly.
He puts that much energy and he puts that much passion into everything. And so does Adrian Smith does too. Mm-hmm. Adrian Smith almost looks like he enjoys playing the songs that he didn't write and he wasn't in the band originally with. He looks like he almost enjoys the band. Like, even during this song, he looks like he's having a lot of fun playing Sign of the Cross.
Yeah, it's just a great song. Yeah. I mean, and like we said earlier, man, you don't get that from every band. Like, the fact, some guitarists should have been like, I'm not playing that song. Whatever. I'm done. I'm not playing a song that I wasn't here to write. I mean, it's like...
That part, like, after the first part ends, when they do the dun, 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 and then they do the do 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 do, and then right when it goes back into the hard part, is like an amazing part of the concert.
Oh, I
Steve's
know.
right
Just
in front
Steve
of
headbanging. Like,
yeah. He's right in front of the bass drum.
Yeah, dude, it's it's sick.
The whole band's just like.
Then when it goes do 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 do, and they're just jumping like.
And then the other like amazing part, I'm getting like chills thinking about it, is like Dave Murray just freaking comes in with the tapping solo. Like,
sickening.
He just like, it's one of Dave's best solos. Probably his best might be his best on the whole concert. It's amazing.
Amazing.
I mean, they go through that whole range of melodic ideas and everything, and it comes right back around, and then Bruce comes out. It's the sign of the cross.
I'm so glad they're playing it too, because one thing that we talked about earlier was like how there are so many gems like in the 90s that are there, but like the rest of the album just pales in comparison to that one song. You kind of wish that song, like the other songs on the album, were like close to that song. Sign of the Cross is like one of those songs where
it's transcendent.
It's transcendent. It's a song that's like it could have been written in the 80s.
It's like an 8 out of 10 on the studio version, and it's like a 10 out of 10 live.
It's amazing. It's one of Steve's greatest epics. With Bruce singing it, like Matt said,
the energy, the production of it live is like so much better than the studio version. It's hard to really understate. It's the most improved song live compared to the studio version, I think, on this concert.
Absolutely. The Mercenary!
I mean, it's kind of like thrown in there. It's kind of like a short rocker here. It kind of gets buried between like all these really, really epic songs. Like you just had Sign of the Cross, which like blew your mind. You had 2 Minutes to Midnight performance was amazing. Blood Brothers is, like we said, probably the best on the album. Wicker Man's incredible. Like all these performances are incredible. And then you kind of get Mercenary thrown in there. It's probably the weakest song on the album in terms of a live version. Obviously, we just talked about in the last podcast about the studio version of it and stuff. I mean, it's still a good song, but it doesn't. It's probably the weakest song on the concert.
Yeah, I don't think it translates well live as the other stuff does.
There's nothing like I'm thinking about the song now. There's like no moment in there. I'm like kind of like, oh, that was a cool part or anything. Like it's just kind of there.
And you're looking at the album perspective, it's awesome because it's like a new rocker on the album. But like, if you're putting it up against rockers like you said, like 2 Minutes to Midnight, Wicker Man, and honestly, even Ratchild in this concert, it kind of like doesn't have the same quality.
It's lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, but it's still an amazing song. Album version, live version is good too, but just not as good as the other stuff. Yeah. Then we go to the Trooper.
Yeah, the Trooper. Yeah, it's hard for me to be like,
holy
every
shit.
song I kind of sound like a broken record. It's my favorite live version of the Trooper. It's 250,000 people, singing along and doing those during the chorus, and I love when Janik and Adrian do that dual guitar solo, and it's awesome. And it goes right into Davey doing his solo. I mean, it's the energy level is like through the roof during this song.
That's what I was gonna say. My favorite part of the song is when Janik and Adrian do the same solo together. That extra dimension, like you're just like 3 fucking guitar players. This is amazing. Like it's sickening. Like you turn a solo almost into like a harmony kind of, and it's awesome. Like
yeah, it works.
It's incredible.
And we didn't like mention how like Janik here is like live. Janik has like a lot of energy, and he does like some people like bash him for being like dancing around like a clown or whatever, but like it's hard to understate. Janik brings that extra energy to the band because Adrian's kind of a guy that stands there, plays technically, still sounds great. I mean, he looks awesome. Like he's cool. Steve is a guy that runs around. Dave's a guy that just kind of stands there too and does his thing and smiles and plays, and Bruce runs around like crazy, and then Nick got to stay there. So like you need those guys in the band that bring that energy, that feeling of running around, interacting with the crowd, because you have Dave Murray and you have Adrian that are going to stand there and they're going to play, their guitars and great music. So it works. It's a great dynamic in the band. You have those guys standing there and playing, and you have the guys that are full of energy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think live performances, you can't understate how like important Janik is. Like we was talking about 2 Minutes a Minute. He's like crouched on the ground playing guitar. Davey and Adrian are amazing technical players, but like the way that Janik plays live is incredible. Like he's holding his guitar vertically, playing like his hands, like he's playing it above his head, he's playing it behind his back.
He throws his guitar around behind his back. Throws it in the air.
Yeah, throws it in the air and catches it.
I mean, like, even if you're out there and you don't like that, that's not your thing. Like, you have Dave and you have Adrian. They'll look at. You have those guys. You like technical playing. You can look at those guys. And if you like being entertained live and seeing a guy, spinning his guitar around and stuff, you have Janet to look at. Like, you shouldn't bash a guy because he doesn't do something you like.
And it's awesome to have, and we talked about this before, like this podcast in general, the diversity of Maiden albums, and then you can just see right there with Matt said, the diversity in the band. There's guys who stand there and they play and they have a good time and they're technical. There's guys who run around, they're full of energy, and might not be as technical as the other players, but they're or the other members, but they're still amazing. They still write amazing stuff. They still play amazing stuff. They still look amazing on stage.
The Trooper's just perfect example of that, man. It's just the Trooper start to finish is just never slows down. It's fantastic. Just flies. It's fantastic. I wish it was 10 minutes long, but
it feels like it's 10 minutes long.
You see that concert, it's definitely the highlight of every time I've ever seen Iron Maiden live and they play the Trooper. It's one of those highlights. Never disappoints.
That's your favorite album? Your tattoo?
Yeah, I wish if I ever got a tattoo of Iron Maiden, it'd be the Trooper, I think.
Then after they play the Trooper, they go on A Dream of Mirrors. Amazing.
Yeah, this song's like a trip live. Starts out with, Dan, have you ever felt? I mean, it's probably the most unique way an Iron Maiden song's ever open. It starts out really heavy, and then it goes into that Janet Gears acoustic guitar. That dun, 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 dun. And that kind of becomes a staple of Janet's playing. He does. Dance of Death has that. Legacy has that. Talisman has that. And then Book of Souls has that. It's kind of his epic signature on a song. Yeah,
man, I talked about this before. We mentioned it briefly on Brave New World too. He brings that kind of folky kind of sound to it.
Yeah, because Iron Maiden didn't have a ton of acoustic guitars back in the 80s. I mean, they had Moonchild. They had a couple other songs here and there. But now it's at least maybe 2 songs an album, 3 songs an album have acoustic guitar in it.
Yeah, I think it works. I mean, it works. It adds a different element, We talked about it too, where Adrian's the progressive guy. He likes the progressive sounding stuff. Davey's the more traditional guitar player, heavy sound. And you can hear the solos too, and they sound like that. And then Yannick is brings the folky kind of thing to it. And now a lot of the guys too, though, Yannick has influenced them because, in some of the songs, Journeyman, on the night we're talking about, off of Dance of Death album, all of them were playing acoustic on that. So his influence really made them. I could just see it. They're all sitting there after this is recorded, and they're like, you know what, mate? You got this acoustic guitar sound. Well, we should make an acoustic song, right? And then they're just sitting there, and they make Journeyman. Adrian's probably I can play acoustic guitar too. That'd be cool, right? And then Davey's like, you really play some acoustic guitar?
Yeah, and they do an all acoustic song.
That's amazing.
It probably had something to do with Dream of Mirrors. This live too is Bruce singing the lyrics. You can kind of look at him and believe. That's one thing Bruce does live great is that Bruce loves to be a storyteller. That's his thing. So when he's singing live, you kind of get that storytelling feel to him. The way he emotes with his face, and he kind of blows himself up, and he moves his hands around a lot, and he's very theatrical when he plays live.
His vocals too, man. Like you said, this is another one of those songs that the album version kicks ass, but this is just another transcendent experience, man. I mean, this is
ton of energy.
The lyrics in the song too, he genuinely loves singing this. It's we've never seen this song live, and this is one of the songs that I would love to see live. I would love to see it. I mean, it would just be.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll ever happen, but never say never, I guess.
If they play it, please. This Dream of Mirrors is going to be something that I want to see.
The Dream of Mirrors, thank you.
Then after they play Dream of Mirrors, they go into The Klansman. Not even a Bruce song. And once you do, fucking destroys it. What's the line he says? You know it.
This song is about freedom.
Yeah.
Which should be something familiar to you all, but which sometimes is not.
Amazing. And he introduces it this is a song that takes place in medieval Scotland. I love it.
He's very theatrical. He's giving you the stage. And a lot of these people might have never even heard of Klansman before, because Virtual 11 was not a very popular album. Not even among Maiden fans, certainly not a general music audience like you got in Rock in Rio. These people are kind of metal fans. They might not even be Iron Maiden might not be their favorite band, but so they don't know some of these songs. And the way Bruce has to, he introduces every song. He tells you what the song's about. So you kind of get that feel. You get that connection. Oh, this song's about freedom. Okay. Let's hear this song, That's what Bruce does.
I was just watching something the other day. They were on tour Legacy of the Beast. I think they were playing right before the London shows that they just did. And he introduces a song. And he says, this is a song about William Wallace. medieval Scotland some time ago. Like talking about like, and he just introduces it and talks about like why William Wallace did it. Like, I mean, he talks about the song for like a minute and 30 seconds before
the intro. Yeah, I mean, Bruce is like an all-time great frontman of the band. Just not even just his vocal performances, not even just his energy that he brings to the band, but the way he interacts with the crowd, the way he brings everybody in. He recognizes everybody in the back. Like we've seen him in a couple times at these open amphitheaters where people sit on the grass and then there's seats in front. And he'll say, like, sometime in the show, he'd be like, you people out there in the, he'll say, the lunatics on the grass. He's like, you're not forgotten. I see you out there. That's just
Floyd reference.
Yeah, like that just way, like, if you're out in the grass and Bruce was like, hey, you guys up there, like, I see you all. I mean, that's just got to be like, yeah.
He looked at me.
Like, you got to think like, hey, Bruce sees us. Like, they're bringing everybody in. And that's what they do live, even here. Like, in front of 250,000 people. Is like, Bruce has that way of making everybody feel part of the concert.
I love it. And the whole idea of freedom, like we talk about, a lot of people don't get the, they travel to all these different places, and a lot of people don't understand what that's like.
Yeah, some of these countries they play in, they don't have as much freedom as we
live in poverty. They're under dictatorships. They're under like totalitarian governments or regimes, and they still like love metal.
Music's an escape for that.
Yeah, and this is what better way to escape than listening to like a liberal metal band.
Yeah, one of my favorite parts of this song, getting back to Rock in Rio, though, is like Bruce is standing there and like Nick is doing like some sort of Scottish dance behind his drum set.
He's like, ha ha ha!
Bruce is like looking at him like, what in the world? Like, and he's like dancing around, and because like him and Janik, I believe, are Scottish, and that shows you like how the band like has fun together too when they play live. And I think there's a point in this song too where Bruce goes and starts like dancing on stage. It's just goofy, but it's funny.
They love playing together. They're back together, and like we said, this is an album based on Brave New World, and they're back destroying.
This is like a song too that, like I said, the crowd was probably least familiar with the song out of any song they played because it came from like an album that wasn't really popular. And there's a part where in the song where he said, "No, we won't take anymore," and he's getting like the crowd involved. He's like telling them like scream it, like no. No, we won't let them take anymore. He's like, scream it!
We don't let them take anymore. We're never free. Yeah.
Fucking scream it!
And it's like, oh.
Yeah. See, this song too is like, I like it a little less than Sign of the Cross, but I just don't think it's as good of a song. But compared to like the studio version, compared to like the Rock and Rio version, obviously the Rock and Rio version is awesome.
Yeah, the Rock and Rio version wins by a landslide.
Yeah. Sorry, Blaze. You've been replaced.
Then they go to The Evil That Men Do. Wow.
My favorite performance of live of Evil That Men Do, it's like, it's just, this is another, like, really, really incredible song live. This is probably, like, this is one of my favorite songs on the concert.
We saw this song live.
The good that men do is often interred their bones.
But the evil that men do lives on.
And then his guitar is like, I mean, it's just amazing.
It's incredible. I mean, we've seen the song live.
I think just once, right?
Yeah, just once, and it was amazing.
It's a song that works live. It has the energy. It has the chorus you can sing along to.
It has the power to make my. Just kidding.
It has that like ability. It's one of those songs I wish I could see live again. Yeah, hopefully they play it again in the future.
It's the thing with Maiden is there's so many songs that are just like utterly disgusting that you want to see them so many times.
Aren't they playing Evil That Men Do on the Legacy tour? I think they are.
I don't know. It might be. Looks like we might see it.
Yeah, hopefully they do.
Fear of the Dark.
Yeah, Fear of the Dark's like one of the songs I'm getting a little burned out of for the past like 10 years. But that being said, it's my favorite version of Fear of the Dark. It
is great.
It's like a light in the black. Or just a fear of the dark.
A Light in the Black. Is that a reference to the Rainbow song? Maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Bruce is a big Dio fan.
That's probably what it is.
Probably.
Referencing Pink Floyd, Lunatics on the Grass,
Yeah.
Light in the Black.
Just rainbow. The fear of the dark. And the crowd like singing along to this at the beginning and everything. And the fact it's taking place at like 3 a.m. It's an incredible song.
Yeah, everybody has their lighters out or whatever. I think it's funny watching this DVD too because nobody has cell phones. Right?
Yeah,
it's all lighters.
Pre-cell phones.
It's pre-cell phone. Talk about this technology thing. It's just people with lighters.
If you had a cell phone, you had to carry around a backpack.
It's amazing. Amazing.
No, I guess people had cheap cell phones back then, but
they didn't have the lighting power that we have now.
No, nothing like that. Yeah, nobody was holding up cell phones back then.
It was lighters. Now it's a mix of both. It's like cell phones and lighters. You go to a show. It's awesome. Iron Maiden.
Yeah, it's
amazing performance. Yeah. Another one of those highlights that's part of the show that's disgusting. Where we talked about this on the last album. Bruce comes out, and the thing I love about this too is when they put Bruce on that Wicker Man Eddie.
Yeah,
comes up out of the
cage. Yeah,
there's all those women around.
Yeah,
him, all those
Wicker
ladies.
Virgins.
Yeah, Wicker Virgins. It's amazing.
I like that part in the song. He's like, "Shall we burn our Wicker Virgins? Shall we have them nice and crispy?"
It's so good.
And then he just comes in that's it's my favorite Iron Maiden version. They performed this song 2,000 times, and this one's my favorite.
They never did the Wicker Virgins thing again.
Yeah,
and the Wicker Virgins thing is when have you seen them do that on a tour again?
No, they never done it.
It's amazing.
They should have did it during the Final Frontier tour. They should have brought back the Wicker Man.
They should have.
That'd have been awesome.
I love it. Like you said, it's my favorite live performance of Iron Maiden. Scream for me! Scream for me!
Yeah, that part in the middle where he does this scream for me. I mean, it's just I love everything about it. And then at the end when Janek's throwing his guitar up in the air, and it's just Dave's going crazy, and
seeing that live too, and
it's when I hear Iron Maiden, I picture the DVD version.
Yeah, same here. And Yannick goes over there to that amplifier, and he's like, with the landing ball,
and then he shuts it off just at the right part.
It's perfect.
Yeah, it's just everything about this song is this album's the performance is just perfect.
What about the Number of the Beast?
Still a great version. The song has the crowd's all silent and everything, and then the red light comes on, and you see the Number of the Beast cover. And that voice, and the crowd goes nuts. Just another awesome version.
Yeah, another thing I love about this riff too, man. Just translated to the song. Again, we're gonna say it again. This is my favorite live version of Beast. I love Beast Over Hammersmith. I love that concert. This is still my favorite version. This is still my favorite version of the song live.
I mean, this is the standard that Iron Maiden live set for the next. Until modern times here. This is what you expect when you go see it. This is what they modeled their live shows after. It's that rock and Rio feel. And, I mean, the Number of the Beast, and he's Bruce is up there, and he does, that scream at the end of the intro, and he's just hitting on all notes. Bruce had a great performance this night. And this was the last last show of the whole tour. It's the last time they ever, did this live, and he still sounded amazing.
Oh my god. Probably one of the greatest songs in heavy metal history. Next.
My favorite live performance ever, Hallowed Be Thy Name.
Hallowed Be Thy Name. Wow.
This version of Hallowed Be Thy Name was disgusting. It's my favorite song Iron Maiden's ever done, and it's probably my favorite version of that song. It's there's just something, I don't know what it was about this concert or that night or whatever. They just were feeling it. They just had it. It's the best thing that they've ever done live.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with that, man.
I mean, Hallowed Be Thy Name's probably it could be the peak of the whole show. I mean, it was an amazing version. This is what made me love Hallowed Be Thy Name so much too. Was this live version of this song? It just took it to another level.
Yeah, for me, I was talking about when we did the Number of the Beast podcast, I had never heard Hallowed Be Thy Name, and I heard it. Matt played it for me one time when we were hanging out. And I was taking him home, and he played the studio version for me. It blew me away, and then. When you got me that DVD, man, for my birthday that one year, I was just wow, this is incredible. And it just blew me away. Again, my favorite performance is why. I mean, we've seen this song multiple times live, and it's been incredible. Mm-hmm. And it's because of this DVD. That's the reason.
Yeah, I mean, that middle part when it just kicks into another gear right before the solos, and then. Davey's solo in this is one of his best.
Sickening.
Yeah, it's
sickening.
And then Janek, it's one of probably one of my few solos, I think Janik does better than Adrian Smith's original. Might be the only one that he actually does better than Adrian, just because he can plays so much faster.
And when you're playing live, you got to play faster. And that Adrian talks about that before. He's like, I don't like to play songs fast a lot of times, and I think Janik is tailored to do that more so. One of Janik's solos too are a lot faster. If you ever listen to him, he picks a lot faster. He's not as technical, but his picking is a lot faster.
He's a little sloppier than Adrian, obviously, but the feel you get when you're playing live and they have the song and he plays it solo, and then, at the end, Bruce comes back out, and he's like, hallowed be thy name. Yeah. I mean, it's just incredible. And he holds that last, be thy name, and the whole band's like, it'd have been a great way to end the concert, but it's not the end yet. I like too that Dave holds his whammy bar at the end. And like Nico's like pulling on his like drumstick, like he's gonna like Dave's like breaking his guitar over there. It's funny.
It's awesome. And then and they go into the sanctuary from the law. Yeah.
Yeah, Paul comes out and he does the song live. It's a very special part of the concert. Yeah, I mean, it's, I'd say along with Mercenary, it's probably like my other least favorite song that they play live here. I could have done without it, honestly, on the concert. It feels like, at this point, they shouldn't be playing Sanctuary.
Yeah, they should have ended with
Yeah, they just did Number of the Beast. They just did Hallowed Be Thy Name. Like, you don't need to be playing Sanctuary. At least they should have played, like, Number of the Beast, Sanctuary, then Hallowed Be Thy Name. Yeah. I don't know, like, it feels out of place.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it does too, and I think this is where actually they were going to end the concert, and then they go like off stage after Sanctuary.
Yeah,
and then the crowd's just like, oh, Maiden.
I think they were going to play Run to the Hills. Yeah, I think it was something special for the DVD and the concert and everything.
Yeah, they come out and Bruce says that fucking classic line. You know, this is a song you all want to hear, and you fucking deserve to hear it. Yeah. Run to the Hills, and fucking that song too. Live is just
yeah, it's one of those jewels of the concert here. It's one of those songs that they never played live with Blaze for obvious reasons, because Blaze could have never have pulled off something like that live, and Bruce does that, scream in the middle of it is amazing.
Right now, man, even just sitting here talking, I'm just like playing the concert, like
I kind of
want
to go watch it,
like watch it, yeah, like, just like watch it, like
You're probably sitting there listening to this, and you're like, man, I'm just gonna go watch Rock in Rio.
Yeah, right now in my head honestly, it's playing 2 minutes a minute. I think the part. I'm just thinking about it right now.
Yeah, but this whole concert's like so ingrained on me that I could like sit here and talk about it and just little parts of it, and like I almost have it memorized.
The guitars they use are amazing. Adrian's clothing and stuff for it is fantastic. Like
we didn't even talk about like the cover for the Rock in Rio DVD is actually like really cool. It has them like on stage and they're looking out to the crowd, and then you see Eddie's face up in the clouds, kind of like the Brave New World cover. Mm-hmm. But it's kind of like real. And then the CD version of the cover is like even like better. It's like from the crowd looking in. So you got the view from them looking out. Now you get the view from the crowd looking in, and you're like, it seems like you're like a mile away from the stage. And it has like Eddie's face and eyes, and his mouth is like the stage.
His mouth's the stage. Yeah, it's great.
And you see how big it is.
It totally just nails the whole Brave New World, the idea of Brave New World. Like Eddie's that storm, and like the band's like what's the most dangerous part of the storm? Like the eye of the storm, right? And like the band is obviously the stage, and that's like the most, like the best part of the storm, and it's the band. And it's amazing.
It just looks huge. Like this concert felt huge. When you watch it, it looks huge. It's great sounding. I mean, they recorded it January 19th, 2001, and it didn't come out on video until June 10th of 2002. So you had to wait a year and a half for this to come out. And they said Steve spent 6 months editing the video because they lost 2 rolls of film from the 2 cameras. One on Dave's camera and Adrian's camera were lost. Either I don't know if they were like physically lost or they were just like digitally lost. I'm not sure. But so Steve took it upon himself to learn how to edit video. And it took him 6 months. And he had just got done touring They did Virtual 11 tour in 1998. They did the Ed Hunter tour in 1999. They recorded Brave New World and then toured with it for, almost 2 years. And then he spent the next 6 months at his house editing Rock in Rio. So, I mean,
in 2003 they released it.
Yeah. So, Steve just spent 6 years straight of doing stuff. So, I mean, he had to have been pretty burnt out, but
again, produced by Kevin Shirley, amazing.
It sounds great.
It's an amazing album. I mean, I have nothing but great things to say about it. It's an amazing live album. The cover art is amazing.
I mean, if you were on a desert island, you could take one piece of Maiden with you, an album, a DVD, whatever. I would probably take Rock in Rio with me.
That's tough, man. That really is really, really tough. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to agree with you. If I could take one piece of their catalog, whether, like you said, whether it be a CD or a piece of music, it's probably going to be this. You know?
Just to be able to sit there and watch it.
If I could watch it, absolutely. If I could listen to it, absolutely. I mean, it's fantastic. I'd have to say, though, I'd rather watch it than listen.
Yeah, watching is just...
Watching it gives you that whole, pictures, oh, shit, If I could have the stereo speakers, the Dolby Digital setup, oh, fuck, this is amazing.
Yeah, it's out of all their DVD releases, I think it sounds the best. It looks the best. It feels the best. Modern speaking, I think In Vivo comes the closest in terms of capturing that feel. Yeah. In Vivo is a great show, but it doesn't. It doesn't. Away. Yeah,
it's still worlds away.
It's still a step or two below.
Yep, worlds away, man. Brave New World. Well, that's our review right there, everybody, of the Rock in Rio.
Yeah, we thought it was important to talk about Rock in Rio too, just because of what it meant to us. What it meant to the band modern-wise.
Absolutely. And like we said in the Brave New World podcast, we saw 4 songs off of the Brave New World album. What we're going to do is save that until we hit the Final Frontier tour, because that was the tour that we saw it on.
Yeah, we'll talk about what it was like to see those songs live for us.
Absolutely. But hey, guys, thanks for listening. If you haven't got a chance to listen to the live album of Rock in Rio, please go buy that now. Support Iron Maiden. Listen to that. You're going to love it. If you want to see what those guys look like while they're singing those songs, buy the DVD release of Rock in Rio. Matt and I think it is the best live DVD, probably period, from any musician, any musical group.
Yeah, it's my favorite.
It's my favorite too. Check it out. And again, guys, as always, we appreciate your support. We appreciate you listening. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Facebook. Listen to us on YouTube. Matter of Life and Maiden, the podcast of the Beast. I'm Joe Labrilla.
And I'm Matt Wagner.
Take care, guys. Next time. Yes, bet.
Scream for me, Brazil!
Scream for me!